heroes, villains, and sidekicks. Thanks for joining us once again for the Umbra Initiative post-show,
Hi.
episode 25.
I got the splinter on my finger.
Glad
For
you did.
anyone who was wondering, I got it out.
That's the story arc.
Yeah.
How you guys doing?
I'm hot.
Hot?
I'm very hot.
I might have
It's
stains.
rough in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm not feeling it.
I don't know. You're wearing two shirts.
I know. I don't know what was wrong with
You're
me.
mad.
Maybe, you know how in the desert, you wrap up in more layers because it insulates you, because you can't get over an internal temperature of it's still pretty high. It's 98. I don't know, it's something ridiculously high, but you can't go over that, right?
Yeah.
You're insulated enough. So maybe that's what my body's feeling right now.
Yeah.
I think you're just a psycho.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm usually always cold, so
I know.
I'm not saying this is comfortable, but
We gotta get the AC in here.
Yeah.
Gotta get that in here.
anyway, yeah. Hello. This is the semi-finale of the Umbra Initiative.
The penultimate episode.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know.
Very nice.
See, penultimate sounds so much better than ultimate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
More
even though it's second best, it just sounds cooler
Yeah,
At least I'd rather be penultimate.
than ultimate. Yeah.
Digimon.
Ultimate is overrated.
Absolutely.
Oh my god.
I was gonna die.
So let's just go through breakdown real quick over here. So we start with the
Name drops
scene.
with the pre-scene.
Oomin.
Ooman.
Oomin was officially mentioned.
Yeah, and we got not a visually stimulating pre-scene at all. Just voices.
Yeah.
Which I kind of appreciate because you're a very visual dude.
Yeah, I thought I don't think I needed it.
Switch it up a little bit.
Do you think? I kind of agree with your narration style is very visual, but do you think when you describe your own narration style, do you think of yourself as a visual narrator? Like, do you think of yourself as like a Lord of the Rings style, like describe every tree in the forest, or do you picture yourself as more of a narrator where you're just kind of like generally just this is here?
I think more the former. I like the because I really like putting metaphors in, and I really like putting foreshadowy, I like putting literally elements into everything I do. So in dialogue, the reason why somebody will say something means something different, right? I'm putting it under the lens of if you were to analyze it, what would this mean, kind of thing. Not that doesn't mean everything that I put. I'm not gonna be like, she's saying hello to him. Does he say hey, hello,
Or hey.
Right? But way more in regards of the items that are around in the room. Because items could mean something different. There's actually, I'll say this now, there is a scene earlier in the campaign that nobody has picked up on yet, where something very specifically of an object was dropped, and it meant something very significant, but nobody's picked up on it.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, maybe it'll be revealed sometime. But regardless, to answer your question, I think earlier, I just, even with my dialogue, I like doing you guys probably noticed I printed out a lot more things this episode than I have before. I pre-wrote Natalie's speech. I pre-wrote Stone's thing.
I wish I
Yeah, you read a lot from scripts tonight.
Which I don't like to do. I only like to do for very significant moments. But it's the episode before. There's a lot of things that I don't trust myself to wrap up off the cuff, right? So I made sure I had to write it down and made specific things that were said. And
Yeah, the way you deliver sounds natural anyway. Thank you. Anybody that's if they're just listening on audio, they probably have no idea that you're scripted.
Right.
Moments. Yeah, and I really like the Nat thing is my favorite thing I wrote. Just because when I wrote it, when you write, you didn't like that flow state. Just go. That was with Nat. I was
nice.
I feel very comfortable writing this. I think I like her attitude. We also don't get to know a lot about Nat in the campaign. Her, she mentioned that her family's pretty well off. She inherited her house, kind of thing, but. Just putting a little bit more backstory into her.
Yeah,
it was
nice.
good.
I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
And then getting the people, we'll get to that part. But we had the pre-scene. Boom. We had someone who couldn't read.
Wow.
Talking to Illyra.
Yeah.
And after that, we joined in with the heroes. I had some good talks between, I think, the three characters, especially with Arabella and the others, talking about what just happened at their convent, right?
Yeah.
I think you guys played off each other very well in that respect, trying to like support but also not like smother Arabella.
Yeah. I think Barrett has this very a very different idea of Arabella now after what happened.
Yeah, you can leave the door open. Well, it's the post show.
I mean, if you insist, yeah.
Just going from like, this girl needs help because she can't do this on her own, to like, she is a grown adult and I'm not going to influence her decisions.
Yeah.
That's kind of like how Barrett saw and now sees Arabella.
You know what's so cool about it, right? The very beginning of the campaign, you have this dude who's watching Arabella through a scope in her home, and now he's gone to the dude who's waiting outside the door, watching over her in a much different way.
Right.
Yeah.
At the end of this campaign.
Yeah.
Right. Same exact role,
Yeah.
but way different circumstances
Right,
and motivations.
yeah.
Totally different motivations.
Yeah.
And that's like that character arc embodied in that moment.
Yeah. I do like, I do really like how that kind of, the Arabella kind of character arc influenced so much of the other characters, like relationships. I like that dynamic that it brought.
Absolutely.
Especially because, like you said in the beginning, it's like, I like how the setting determined more than you would think. Like how you're saying, like, you were looking through a scope at a convent, and at first you think like, oh well, naive, like, innocent person they should do whatever, like childish, right? To this point where you're like, oh wait, actually, like, she is an adult and like has been this whole time, and now she's just forced to do whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I try and show that relationship with her and Barrett in a way that still shows Barrett's flaws. Because I try to, like, I'm like, you know, there when you're going through the room, I'm like standing outside, like, you know, like a guard pretty much. But at the same time, when you are like, you know, when Arabella just sees everyone die, he's just kind of like, yeah, she'll make a decision on what to do, and I don't need to help her. She's her own person.
Yeah.
Like, it's still like Barrett being like, you know, you can deal with this because I now see you as an independent person.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I really like the dynamic that it's like forced upon other people a little bit.
Sure, absolutely. That was a challenge. It's challenging, right? That's what you want to see. Like, comfortable isn't exciting. Comfortable isn't compelling. But challenging was good. I like, you know, I think Jordan's words are pretty valuable to Arabella, because it comes from a place of, I know I've been there.
Right. Yeah.
You know? But it's also different, right? And I think Jordan understands that.
Yeah, the context of both situations is completely different.
Right.
Yeah.
Same result of loneliness, but how you get there, you know, way different.
Right. Yeah, it was like what we talked about last week about like how like Arabella is at the very beginning of that process of grief, whereas Jordan and Barrett
Literally just got there.
they're finally
Literally.
at the end of it, and they're finding new purposes for their lives and kind of like moving on finally.
Literally just fought off the kin of grief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back!
Yeah.
Take two, baby!
Yeah, how's it going, Toots?
You said the same thing before. Grief's a bitch, and it changes you. I like demonstrating that in storylines.
Yeah.
I really, really like how it brought you two together, though, Barrett and Jordan now, because now they're like, I feel like, I mean, throughout the whole season, it's very much like Barrett and Jordan making decisions and like doing certain things, but kind of on their own terms. Whereas now you're like communicating, being like a team. Like,
Give me a piggyback.
all right, yeah, literally though, and I love that like shift in like the relationship.
Could you have imagined?
He's like at your home, like.
Could you have imagined months ago when you were going after Arabella, trying to snipe her down, and I'm trying to like stop you from doing that? That months later I'd be giving you a piggyback ride.
Not at all. Not at all.
Cavern.
Yeah.
The dude crashing on my couch.
Yeah, right. I love that. It's so good.
Then as Barrett takes Arabella to the convent, Jordan has a scene with himself. He gets a scene with the kin of conservation, which was supposed to happen last session,
Yeah.
but clearly it could not fit that in there. I thought that was a great conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. It kind of, I think it sort of cemented Jordan's role in what he is kind of like we were talking about before about just kind of like redefining yourself and finding a new purpose. Like that was kind of like cementing that role for him, I think.
And I think also reiterating or just dispelling any doubts that, like, oh, Jordan is the way he is because of this kin, right? There's no identity crisis to it. It's like the exact opposite. The kin is like, no, listen, you made all these choices. Like, this is 100% you. It's also like me as a GM being like, no, you made these choices as a player. You got yourself here. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, and I don't think there was any doubt, like as a player or as a like character in general, that there was like any sort of I'm not the one in control of my fate right now. Kind of thing. Which plays in perfect contrast to Arabella's storyline. And like the ultimate like yin and yang of like the duality of the kin and stuff.
He also name dropped the kin of carnage part of their name. That you gave me
ages ago.
When we first, like, before the episode 1, you gave me that, and I have it. I know I didn't do the full thing that you gave me. I just kind of gave you the first part.
Yeah, that's totally cool.
You know, there's that.
That was sick.
And then, and then you kind of have that acceptance, that full bond of with that kin.
Yeah, that felt really cool because it kind of, like I said earlier, just kind of like cemented Jordan's kind of role in future as like being him and getting ready for that kind of changeover into accepting like the responsibility of being like the conservator for everything.
Guardian.
I really liked that scene a lot.
A judge almost.
I might say.
One might say.
And then you guys do the town hall meeting.
I wish I prepared.
You were perfect. I thought you were perfect on there. I don't have a single thing to say about any of you that could have gone any better. I think that was like, because initially I was like, oh, I'll have them roll like persuasion, take the average, and see how Arcadian Haven feels. But you guys like crushed it every single time, and I was like, they would be really stupid if they said all these great things and then rolled like a 5, and everybody was like, nah, like screw that. Like I don't care what the dice say about that one. I thought you guys did really good, just pleading your cases. I was almost waiting for Barrett to just shoot.
I know.
Just like shoot in the sky and be like, this gun protects.
I wanted to be the one to talk first because Barrett is like the most grounded of like what he can do and what he can show.
I liked that he went for it because like I saw like Jordan about to go. I was like, okay, and then I liked that Barrett was like, nah, I'm gonna take the lead here.
The only reason I even stopped you was just because I wanted to be like, I'm a real dude. Like, I have a gun. It's like, I'm just a guy, like, from the military. I'm here to protect you. Also, they are here.
And I think that was way more effective than, like, us speaking first and being like, and that guy's cool. He's with us. Trust us. Like, you kind of, like, introduce yourself as your own entity to the town.
So, and it also helps, like, the progression of familiarity in the town and your group, right? So, newest guy, dude's been here a few years, kept to himself, and then Arabella.
I like how just now, like, Jordan's story is like, oh, and I just nonchalant, I was an astronaut. Like,
it's
like, it's so weird how it's the least wild thing that's happened.
I know.
It was just a job to him, man. And like, it's funny because everyone's so like, you know, people have like funny reactions to like certain occupations. So astronaut's totally one of those things. Where it's like, oh my god, that's amazing and stuff. But like, it's not the most important part of Jordan at all. and I like that because it's such an easy thing to like lean on for
Yeah.
like content or whatever, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It's just more of a means to an end for the character, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was literally just like, so this is like how it happened. And
Yeah.
now we're here and like
Yeah,
just showcasing like I got glowy hands and stuff.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. The power reveals were good. As in, open the black hole and
Yeah, I should have just opened that
I
new
know, right?
singularity in the center of the room and just sucked the entire town in and killed everybody.
Arabella's wings are a good touch.
Town full of minions. All
I was like, there's nothing I could really showcase. I was like, I didn't want to be like,
all right, somebody like Barrett shoot somebody so I can heal.
Yeah. Randall's knee.
watch this.
Oh, it's not working right now.
Oh, my bad.
Everybody, shut up!
You really should rely on this
focus.
too heavily. I thought it was like, I figured the wings would be better to showcase and also like almost like symbolizes like Arabella as a whole, like kind of like nobody knows this whole other side but what they expect of her.
Yeah, that's a good point. I thought you said that. Yeah, and also I think the wings were good to kind of end on because it's like, oh, angelic presence,
Right.
not wholesome but comforting in a way,
Yeah.
right? Like this is good.
Yeah.
Like this doesn't have to be evil.
Right,
you know?
yeah.
Whereas like the space thing, like Jordan's powers, like these are serious. Like you're seeing skeletal hand, like this is dangerous, powerful, and then Arabella's like, but also it can be used for good, like right. So
Yeah. It
you're
was
your allies.
It was almost like it was really kind of like in hindsight smart the way that we laid everybody out
It
because
was
like
very well balanced.
yeah, because like Barrett is like not like the regular everyman kind of situation, but he sort of is in a way of like the perfect like spectacle of humanity. Like he's like the like calculated fighter guy, like the ultimate protector.
Right.
And then comes in Jordan, who is just another man, but happens to have the experience of leaving the familiar world that everybody knows,
Yeah.
experiencing something else different and coming back and having that level of
Yeah.
like, look, I've been out there, I've seen what's out there, but I'm still here too, so like
Yeah.
we're good. And
Yeah.
then we're introducing Arabella being like a beacon of faith,
yeah.
of saying like, look, like aside from everybody else, like being prepared to like move on and jump ahead and protect everybody and whatever, we've got this
Yeah.
like
There's
divine power as well.
because your character's like older and have done all these things. There's so much different sort of depth to them than campaign 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't
There's
like, these
history.
conversations I don't think really could happen with campaign 1 characters at the moment because their greatest experiences were high school,
Right.
Yeah. And what was currently happening.
Yeah.
absolutely,
Not like
which doesn't mean
years
that
ago.
they all didn't go through their own arcs, that they all didn't
Right.
succeed in changing themselves and going through these incredible journeys.
Yeah.
But there's something more complicated socially about these new characters.
Well,
Yeah.
the campaign 1 characters, they just didn't have the wisdom that these characters do.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, even
Yeah.
just as like being perceived like as others, I don't. There are. The initiative would have never gotten away with that because like you see a bunch of kids being like, hey, like this shit's going on, we gotta do something. Like I don't think that would go over nearly as well, especially with like the experience and just like you said, there's more history behind it. You're like, listen, like we understand where you're coming from, like we know what's going on. This is what we're trying to do. Whereas like I feel like us as like teenagers in high school be like, we gotta beat this thing.
Yeah, it's very more like cut and dry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think what's kind of interesting is that those characters really can't give advice. 'Cause they haven't, like you said, they don't have the
Yeah,
wisdom, right?
yeah.
There's just a huge difference between characters that are growing and that have grown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we would have been seeking advice in campaign 1. And
That's what
really-
happened a lot more in campaign 1.
Yeah.
People giving advice.
Which was still cool. It was
Absolutely.
nice
Yeah.
to,
It's different,
be
yeah.
on the receiving end.
Yeah.
As a character, because like you're like kind
Yeah.
of developing with them as you
Yeah.
play them.
But also, oh sorry. I was gonna say also, like, now that we play like characters who are adults, it also gives us that kind of responsibility of like, if we're gonna tell all these people, we also have to be responsible for their well-being. Whereas like if you're a kid being like, we're telling you this, but like we don't know what to do about it. I don't know what you want to do. It just is a whole different, because now there's that whole responsibility of like, all right, we're gonna tell you, but just know this something's, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a moment in this campaign for me was when Jason had the bullet.
Yes. Oh, that was a great moment.
And
Yeah.
it shows the difference between the characters that we played in campaign 1 and now. Where like now, Barrett's first instinct was just like, yeah, that's my bullet.
Yeah.
It's like that's
And
what happened.
then it was just silent.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't think there really were any words to say about it. I think just being quiet about that, being solemn,
Yeah.
I think that was the most appropriate response that anyone could have had in that case. You could have grilled them.
And that's
why do you
what-
have that?
Yeah,
You know?
That's like one of the aspects of playing a character that has been through stuff.
Don't.
Oh,
No, he's being good. He's being good. He knows his limits.
playing character with wisdom is the difference there.
Yeah.
Knowing not to just be like, hey, where'd you get that? Hey, what are you doing with that? Hey, that's
Yeah.
mine. You know, that's why it's mine. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't have to do that.
Let me tell you a story of how you got that bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And it's interesting now because I was just thinking about it. Did Jason know like we were there? I think he did, right? Knew that we were all there when she died,
I think
right?
so.
I'm pretty sure he knows.
I'm pretty sure he does as well.
Yeah.
That there was a hunting trip. That,
Right, but now getting that context and knowing like you gave her basically the bullet is just like
well, there's
more.
like, you know, I think there's so many things you can like. You may not get the answer to, but like what do you think is going through his mind? Right? Like there are a lot of different things that could go through a person's head after seeing that, especially with the context that he has.
Right.
Just being told like what happened to Lacey wasn't
Right.
the main story.
Yeah.
There's a weird bullet that isn't hers. This
Yeah.
dude comes around who's affiliated with this, and it's just like that's mine.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
do you
It's
feel,
so
right?
dynamic. It's more complex than just like, you know, I don't know.
Whole town accepts it pretty well. That's did pretty good, and they're kind of on your side about it.
Yeah.
For
It's
now.
nice. It's nice having the town on our side.
For now.
And they work together, and you guys create search parties, and you guys and an excavation team once you eventually find the place
Yeah.
with Jason's help.
Yeah.
You know, that's just a way for it to be like, hey, I mean, this is the end of the first season. This whole campaign has took place in one setting, and it's about time, like, the fruition of what you guys have done kind of culminates into there with these people you've met, and you know, they're not super powered.
Yeah.
They're not like the support cast of campaign 1, where you have these a much smaller cast, but also like super powered. They can
Yeah.
help you in these different ways. They help you in different ways, right?
Right.
So this is just Arcadian Haven kind of reaching out and helping you guys
Yeah.
for once.
Yeah.
It feels more real. It
Right.
feels more like, you know, before we had like Savannah or V or like people
Right.
who like had these crazy abilities to help us. But this time it's just like, hey, we're in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And it's just like dudes.
I have a truck.
And-
Yeah, they had to have a truck. Yeah.
Not only that, but we're aware of like, this isn't the only problem that we're facing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, if we could try to reach out, but like, what good is it gonna do us because there's already another entity in this situation that could cause harm. So it's really like, you know, pick your poison kind of deal. Like, you know, we get together as a town, but out of necessity and like camaraderie instead
Yeah.
of like opening up a whole nother bag of worms.
Yeah, and it's something that could never have happened in campaign 1 because it took place in New York City, and then
True, yeah.
unless you have the Spider-Man moment,
Right,
like,
yeah.
hey, we're from New York. You don't mess with a
Yeah.
New Yorker. Like, it would never.
We all moved our cranes to
Yeah.
That was so. That was so post 9/11 propaganda.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
it was,
straight
it
up
was.
what that was.
It'd be like that.
It was really
Just
fun.
saying.
Yeah, fun. So with the cranes, you you went into the mountain,
Yeah.
and you found a double door, and you went through it.
We did.
And then finally revealed.
Yeah.
Day one. You find inside.
Joker's bedroom.
Yeah.
You woke him up. You found
Full nap.
the Divine Jeweler.
Yeah.
Caught at Save the Dog. Which people who only watch Umber Initiative will not know who he is. He's in Campaign 1.
Yeah.
As the ultimate villain, I guess.
I knew he was gonna be in here. I didn't know he was gonna be right in front of our face.
Yeah, same. I would not have guessed that if he was gonna be anywhere, that it was gonna be somewhere like reachable, attainable.
yeah.
I did not picture, like, I thought we were gonna go through like the Amble Bell and go into another dimension and then go through. I did not think like just go into this cave and like, here he is like, oh.
I don't remember him looking the way he looks now.
Yeah, he's a little different.
Okay, I didn't know if I was just misremembering.
He did have like the saws and
Yeah.
tools
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
He's a little different.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this is just kind of like an image of him, or like
We're about to die.
Like a
'Cause-
remote copy.
Yeah, even to our characters in Campaign 1, which were a couple power levels higher than we are now.
Yeah.
He was like the ultimate,
What power
the
level did we
Thanos of
get to
that.
again?
12.
12. Yeah.
We're 10 now, I think, right?
Oh,
We're
damn.
9.
Or 9.
Yeah. I remember Jackie tried fighting him
Yeah.
in the Amble Bell and she got bodied.
I got wrecked.
Yeah.
There was no,
So I'm hoping this is just like a shade of him.
Yeah.
Or, you know.
Yeah, that's what I mean, bro. Like, we about to die for real.
Yeah.
He reveals Raj's full name.
Yes,
say he knew
I
Raj.
wrote down some of it, but I couldn't write down the whole thing.
And Raj knew his full name.
Yeah. And they
Yeah.
sounded similar. I'm just saying.
Ooh.
Sounded similar.
I mean,
But caught.
It was one of your many
Same
common
dog.
names.
yeah. That,
Like 3 commas. in
Yeah,
the name.
yeah, yeah.
It was
It was-
Vishkal. Yeah, I got it right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't know if that means something.
Google it. Google each part of the word.
Vish, so V-I-S-H,
Uh-huh.
apostrophe Gal, G-A-L, apostrophe Sud, S-U-G, apostrophe Nel, N-E-L, apostrophe Araj, A-R-R-A-J.
Oh my god.
That's where Raj. That's where the name Raj comes from.
And then it's Labat Se Padar.
Padar.
Padar, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's Padar.
No.
Yep.
So I don't know if that similarity is like that language, but Raj seemed afraid
Well-
of him. Raj seemed afraid of him.
I also filled in the Raj.
Yeah. Yep. So is he just like, is the jewel cutter just like passion? Is he just like kin of passion and we're about to get bodied?
I was thinking that like since Raj was afraid of him, I was like, oh, maybe he's a Kith. But then I was like, well, we keep saying Kiths are like more than just
Right.
like more than a being. So he must just be like the most powerful of kin. Maybe?
Right.
I mean, he's a kin.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
is
that makes sense.
a kin of passion.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. Which is
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Can I ask a question?
no.
Can't promise I can answer.
Okay. Were there kin in Campaign 1?
That's what I was just thinking.
Were there kin in Campaign 1? Can you rephrase that question? Like,
Were any beings that we saw or fought a kin?
technically, yes.
Besides the jewel cutter.
Besides the jewel cutter, yes.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Animus. Animus is
Animus could-
straight up
yeah.
kin of
Yeah.
justice.
Judgment.
The ones that stood out to me were the Dark Entity
Of course.
and the
So-
Sage.
The Dark Entity is a spawn.
Oh
interesting.
shit, what?
So the origin of the Dark Entity is Khatfat Se Padar, Kin of Passion, created the Dark Entity.
Oh,
It
right.
was
Yeah.
very minor, a very smaller being than what you experienced in Campaign 1, but then who came across Animus. And Animus is an entity that consumes, or rather imprints itself upon consciousness, and they fuse together. So this great devourer and this embodiment of consciousness fuse together in the convergent expanse, because that's where that shit happens.
Is that like similar to
Interesting.
Mother Adele doing her thing? Similar? Like how she was a spawn and then formed or fused with something like Kin of Faith? Or...
Maybe.
something in the
Possibly.
same vein, or
Possibly. The idea of the dark entity is like a freak accident, right? Like stuff like that
Got
doesn't
it.
normally happen.
Yeah.
But it did, which is why you don't see dark entities just
Yeah.
do it, everywhere all at once. Right?
yeah.
What about Sage?
It's like a mutation.
Sage, Spawn.
Yeah. Oh, same thing. Same kind of idea. From
Different.
Passion.
The creation of like a spawn is really different because they could be a lot of different things.
So that's what Bowie is.
Yeah.
Mother Adele was a spawn. Brother Lewis is a spawn. All of them is a spawn. The Sage, a spawn. Dark Entity, a spawn.
Damn.
It also shows a discrepancy of like power between these entities. Like,
Yeah.
and maybe it isn't comfortable to think of a tier of like a spawn is always stronger than a kin. Like it may be different. You don't know. The world is less black and white.
If the Divine Jewel Cutter is a kin, does that make Wilt Lucius his kith?
No. Wilt Lucius
Kin, whatever.
is more so the Centrum is a spawn. And Wilt Lucius, normal human, came across that spawn that needed a vessel.
Got
See.
it. Got it.
Yeah.
Understood.
A kith is not something you guys have ever come across. And whether or not you will, I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless you
a
want to
kith-
fight God.
A kith, yeah, that's like the thing, right? A kith is like the is not really something you can even come across, at least in my mind. Whether or not that changes in the future is like another thing.
That's
but
like a
it's-
power level 20.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
actually
It's power
like
level X, right? It's like
Yeah.
a cosmic thing. It's not something that even cares about problems, right? It's nature. It's like saying I'm gonna fight the fall, right? I'm
Yeah.
gonna fight spring. Yeah. Like it's just something else.
spring got hands.
Yeah, it does this year.
It really does, dude. I don't even have allergies and I'm dying.
But yeah.
Imagine hitting power level
Same.
18 with our campaign 1 characters.
This is godlike.
The dream.
I honestly like.
to
I
progress
really
those
like
characters.
this. I will say I like Jackie's powers better. I really like Arabella's character better.
Did I get that?
I think Barrett has a more interesting power like move set because Adam was just kind of like I'm fast.
Right.
But
Gotta go fast.
I mean that's fun to play.
Yeah, it is.
Because I'm fast is fun to play.
It is really fun to be like, I'm gonna run.
To California.
I feel as though Adam wouldn't excel as well in this campaign because everything is a smaller scale in that
I agree.
regard, right?
Oh right. Yeah.
But I don't know. You make it work.
He would have found that tunnel though quick.
Yeah.
No, I lied. Not with your perception.
Oh,
You would zoom right past it. Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it's all rocks.
There's a lot of rocks. Yeah, I'm pretty.
Next episode
Yeah.
is the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fucked up.
The last one. I have some cool new toys to play with. Excited.
Yeah, I would say expect to fight.
Yeah.
See what happens. I have the. Maybe I shouldn't say anything.
You have the good and the bad ending prepared.
Well, I have a.
Should we be ready with the second character? Got it.
Absolutely. I won't say anything. But it should be fun. We'll have fun.
I hope
No
so.
matter what.
I'm
We'll just
excited.
go in and we'll close this chapter, right? You know?
Excited.
I'm excited.
All right. Thank you for watching the Ember Initiative post show for episode 25. Also, less episodes in season 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
They usually go to 32,
Yeah,
33 eepisodes.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That means we have to do like 5 extra seasons.
Oh, that's what that means. Right. Of course. All right. Thank you guys. We'll see you supporting us on the Patreon. Tell your friends. Patreon.com/.
Tell your mom.
Tell your.
Yeah, tell your mom.
Tell,
Yeah,
mom.
tell your
my
mom.
mom. All right.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.